Okay, so really excited about this Health is Wealth Challenge today because this is really at the core of how we get ourselves to really start having the identity of somebody who's living at a healthy weight, somebody who's not feeling a lot of anxiety around food, somebody who feels abundant in health. And when we dive in and we, go into Shabbat and we think about everything we want for ourselves, we take for granted that health is on that list. And especially in the world that we live in today with the diseases and the corona and all of these things, like it's every time somebody's sick, it's this reminder that like health is wealth. And what I noticed so many times, like when we go back into, I want health, I deserve health, I can curate health, I can co create health with God, we're just so much more empowered to make choices. And if you're going to talk about health, you really cannot be in an honest, authentic place if you don't talk about weight. And I want to open up the chat here so that, guys, in case you have anything you want to share, and something I'm saying triggers you, something you want to talk about, please put in the chat. You agree, write what you agree with. You disagree, write what you disagree with. This is about you, not about my opinion. I want you to be in a healthy weight range that feels good to you because that contributes to your overall health. Most of the diseases that kill us today are nutrition related. We can't say that not taking care of our nutrition and not taking care of our weight is completely not related to our lifespan, to our quality of life, and to the blessing that health is wealth. Now, generous, humble people are wealthy with their health. And this is an affirmation. Generous, humble people are healthy with their wealth. Why am I saying that? Because when I was asking these questions and talking to some of you guys, there were a lot of thoughts that we're going to talk about today that that is not what you think about when you think about people who are healthy. And I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be, I know for me, I had a lot of misconceptions. I had a lot of like garbage going around in my head that was stopping me from being healthy because the things I associated with being healthy were not positive. So when you write down your answers today, be really honest, because it's going to really show you where you're kind of getting stuck, and we're going to be able to do some unblocking. Healthy people's lives reflect their plates and their values. They eat from a place of self-respect and not self-hatred. You guys are changing your mindset every day by being in the Shabbat Ideal Weight community. And I want you to see sustainable weight loss. And I want it to come from this place of your values. So who's excited? Instead of doing it over a week, we're going to do it over a workshop, and really excited to learn what your values are, learn about what's some of that stuff that's going on in your head. Put in the chat now if we should continue, if this is what you want to do, this is why you are here today. Yes? Excellent, yes. Okay, chat, use the chat, guys. Okay, so I want you now to take out your pen and paper and start putting in there, what do I think about health? Don't say what you think you should think about health. When you think about health, what comes up? What word? Okay, you can put it in the chat if you don't have a pen and paper, or you can write it down on your paper and keep it like completely private. What do I think about health? What comes to mind when I think about healthy people? What comes to mind when I think of skinny people? What do I think about aging? What single word comes to mind when I think about aging? What do I think about when I think about a mother's body? I'm a mother now. You guys are mothers now. When you think of a mother's body, what comes to mind? Okay, we're going to pause here for 1 sec, and I'm very interested to see some of your answers in the chat, because one of the things that actually came up for me very strongly was when I thought of a mother's body, it was soft, it was comfort, it was love, it was mushy, it was challah stomach. I have a very powerful memory of one of my aunts and her baby playing with her stomach and being like, it's like kneading challah dough, and her being all like, oh my God, I've had these babies and I have this very mushy stomach and I'm so proud of it. And so, like, if I was going to be that kind of warm, loving mom, like, that kind of goes with a mushy tummy. And that was interesting for me that still came up for me, that it's good to feel like I'm not embarrassed about the skin that I still have, here. But now when I think of a mother, I think of somebody who's warm and compassionate, but healthy and loving. And I want to think about my grandmother who's still doing, yoga planks into her 90s, and I realize that you have to cultivate those thoughts. Anybody have anything they want to share before we go to the next one? Anybody? Okay, put it in the chat. Yeah, you want to share? Okay, so let's keep going to number 2. Okay, I want you to look back at the answers that you wrote, and I want you to tell us if they're true or false. What do you think about health? If what you thought about health is really true, write true. What comes to mind when you think of healthy people? Is that true? Is that really true, or is that just a thought? What comes to mind when you think about skinny people? Is that true? Is that really true? When you think about aging, is that true? When you think about a mother's body, is that how it has to be? Is that true? When we start looking at these thoughts and beliefs, we are generating miracles. We are generating wealth. We are making it rain with wealth of health. Okay. Now I want you guys to take a sec. Let me know. Are you guys ready to move on? Have we looked and seen what was true and what was false? Put in the chat if we can keep going. Okay. How do you know that this is true or false? I want you to really think about your proof for a minute. I want you to write down something right under your answer. That's how you know that if you said it was true, this is an example that your mind immediately calls up. I just gave that little example of my aunt. Where did I get that idea that mommies have soft tummies? Because of that memory from my childhood. Like, I didn't even know that was there. What memory or what lesson did you learn from someone else's experience that they related to you, or a book you read, or something that resonated so deeply with you that it created this belief that this is what you think about health and this is true or this is false? When it comes to your mind, when you think of healthy people, what is there a specific healthy person that you're thinking of? And in your mind, she is the example. So if she's doing it, it must be true. You can change your answer. If as you're thinking of the proof, you're like, wow, I guess it's really not true. What comes to mind when you think of skinny people? Are you thinking of somebody? For me, when I think of skinny people, I'm thinking of this girl from high school. And it's not a happy picture. It's not what I want to be. And so that's a block, right? We got to think, like, does that mean all skinny people are like this girl from high school? No, but that's a block. Who do I think about when I think about aging? What do I think about? Is there stories or something I watched happen to a grandmother, something I watched happen to a parent, something I watched happen to a friend's grandmother, something I saw on TV that just stuck in my mind? True or false? What do I think about a mother's body? This is the most powerful exercise, you guys, you could ever do to keep going in, to really create miracles, to unblock plateaus, to just get out of your own head and see what's stopping you from doing things that on one hand, you want, really getting wealth, deep wealth because you know if you don't have your health, you would give all your money in the entire world for a few more days on this planet. Why are you going to cut those days short? We're always so obsessed about the white sugar and the cookies but we're not, and the diet soda, but we're not really thinking about like overall, is this increasing the quality and length of my life? Is this investing in my wealth? Or am I gonna die sooner, more sick? It's not the white sugar that's the problem. It's these beliefs that are stopping us from just being consistent in the basics, getting enough sleep, right? Eating mostly vegetables on our plates and healthy other foods, even if we have a cookie here and there. Okay, is this resonating with you guys? Are we making some progress here? Are we ready to go into step 4? Okay. Health is wealth. Okay, step 4 here, health is wealth. Okay, good. Checking in the chat. Health is wealth. Part 4, look at your answers. How does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? Okay, so let's go back for 1 second here to the questions. I want you to go through each of the questions. Go through each of the questions. How does this make me feel? When I say that this is true, that mommies are mushy, how does that feel? Well, actually, that doesn't feel empowering to me. That feels like, makes me want to touch my stomach and be like, okay, how would I feel if that wasn't true? And I want you to go through each one of these and pick one today to focus on. One that really you feel like was your block. And say, if I could take this belief, if I could take this picture, right, of my aunt who I love so much, who I look up to so much as the kind of mother she was, and I could give her a big hug and say, I bought you tickets to a movie. I got you an ice cream cone, and I want you to take this. I got you a shopping spree, an all expense paid vacation, whatever you imagine, and hand it to that thought, that belief. And I want you to say goodbye. See you later. See you later. How do you feel when you send that belief away? That wasn't true. You send it away. You're not rejecting it. You're just saying, here, I got you an all expense paid vacation. For me, I feel this like my stomach like pulled in, but at the same time, I got like, I wanted to touch that skin. I'm like, so what does that mean? Does that mean that this is beautiful still, but that it's okay that I like to see my abs under that skin? Like I actually feel free. I feel like release. Something really helpful as you're going through this yourself to check in with. When things are true, they resonate with our bodies. We feel a release. We feel aligned. If we're saying that something's true, but that thought makes us feel sad, ashamed, if we're touching our skin and we're like, yeah, I guess that's true, but I wish it wasn't that way. Like, and it feels in conflict. It feels false. That's the wisdom of our body. That's why God created this mind-body connection, that our soul has to work through our body. This is where the miracle is about to happen. So let's take a sec, and I'm happy to, if anybody wants to volunteer, I'm happy to help you work through one of your answers. When I see a runner, someone who refuses dessert, to me, they are controlled. So how does that control feel to you? You know, does that control feel good? Or does that control feel like, oh, I don't want to be so controlled? Like, oh my gosh, I have to be so controlled, you know? So you can share in the chat. If you don't want to, come on video, that's totally fine. Anybody going to be brave? Volunteer a thought? let's work with, okay. So I want to keep going with this and I want to be here to help you. And here we go. I want you to take a minute, and it's okay. I know it's recorded, to be a little awkward to share and be vulnerable live, but I want you to send me an email. I want you to schedule a call. Just DM me on Facebook, okay? And I want you to start welcoming this process, especially for women, especially when we come to Shabbat. This is a Shabbat, it's a perfect chance to kind of check in with the answers to these questions, to ask yourself, how would I feel if this wasn't true? How does this truth make me feel? How do I feel in my body? I'll give you a final example before we wrap up, and tell me in the chat if this resonates with you. Last night, all week really, but last night in particular, I was again working till like 11 p.m. on something, and my husband was out with the kids, picking them up from yeshiva and taking them home, and they come in, and I'm folding laundry, and I'm listening to a lecture I want to listen to, and the house is still a mess, and my daughter's like on the laptop, and my son comes in with a friend, and they're doing stuff, and like I come up in front, and I'm like, and my husband's getting dinner at like 9:30 at night after I already had finally cleaned the kitchen, and I just felt it was 100% true in that moment. I am a schmata. I do all the work around here and nobody appreciates me. I want chocolate popcorn right now. I want chocolate popcorn right now because nobody cares. Nobody appreciates me. I better appreciate myself. And it's 11 o'clock at night. And if I put myself to sleep, like I didn't get any time for me today, no time for me today, like that. How did that feel? I felt like this rush of heat throughout my body. I felt like it was going to burst out the top of my head. I felt like I wanted to punch somebody. I felt angry. I felt resentful. None of those feelings in my body felt good. Not a single one. None of those felt like I was aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing here. None of those felt freeing. They felt like I'm trapped. And the only way to get out of this trap is if I beat my way out with my fists or I eat my way out. And that is the only way I'm going to break out of this trap of everybody else's needs and expectations of what I want. And I went to my room and I sat down and I said, this does not feel good. I used these steps. This is not true. This is not true. I have proofs that it's true because I'm here working till 11 o'clock at night. Do I have to listen to this lecture? I don't have to. I chose to. Did I have to fold the laundry? I could have left it for the child who was supposed to fold it for tomorrow. Did I have to, feel obligated to that I'm going to have to clean up after them tonight after they clean? Does my husband have to be at home when I'm working? Like he's not allowed to have fun at the same time I happen to be working? Is that true? None of that's true. So in my mind, I was not interested in buying any of the thoughts on ice cream cone or a vacation, but I did show them to a limousine. And I said, here is your car. Your car has arrived. I would like you all to leave. I've arranged for you a trip to the airport. And that resonated with me in that moment. So feel free to be okay with whatever you need to get those thoughts out. And I called them a limousine and I said, here you go. Thank you very much for coming, but you are not feeling very good and you are no longer welcome in my brain house. So goodbye. I sat down and I just said, what is true? What is true is I am so privileged that I paid for this course that I really, really, really want to listen to. And I stopped listening to it halfway through at 11 p.m. because I thought it was 2 hours and it was 4 freaking hours and it started at 9 p.m. And I paused it and I'm like, I'm privileged to have the recording that today when I cook for Shabbos, I can listen to it from the beginning, or I can listen to the rest, or I can listen to it another day when I have time to sit and take notes because there was so much stuff I just wanted to take notes on. Or I could do it while I'm cooking and I can listen to it again because I'm so privileged that I paid for it. And I paid for that. I didn't ask my husband's permission. He didn't need to ask me to go take my son for ice cream for his report card or to go to a football practice. Well, he doesn't need to ask me to do that. He's free. I'm free. I'm privileged. I'm okay. Did I have to fold all the laundry? I really didn't. I wanted to because I really wanted this morning. I knew I had a lot to do and I'm going to get my hair done today. And I knew I wouldn't enjoy getting my hair done if the laundry was all over the floor, especially because I made the effort to wash the laundry. So that's not really true. How do I feel that I made an appointment to get my hair done and I'm going to get my hair done and there is no laundry? That's my problem. No laundry on the floor. If more comes out of the machine, someone else's problem. But like the floor is clean. I got my workout in. I'm teaching a class tomorrow and then I'm going to get my hair done. How does that feel? That feels freeing. I am not trapped. I don't need to eat my way out of this trap. There is no trap. The trap is in my mind. My kids don't help. The kids don't help. Really, they don't help? Because who was drying and putting away the dishes that I was washing? My daughter, who had switched the laundry multiple times throughout the day. My husband, another kid, I put it in, but they switch it to the dryer. They threw another load in. I switched that one to the dryer. Like everybody's helping. There's a lot to clean. Yeah, there's a lot to clean. I've been dying to host guests. This is our first week hosting guests in forever. I love hosting. I'm a great host. How does that feel? I take pleasure preparing my house for Shabbos. That feels true. That feels aligned. That takes us out of that dark place and brings us into this miraculous place. But first, these core questions that I ask today, these are critical because even if you can navigate the little day to day using this, which is super helpful, and I highly, highly recommend the process, but one of the most transformational things you'll ever do is ask those questions. What do I really think about a mother's body at our age, right? 35 plus. What do I really think about aging? What do I really think about weight loss? What do I really think about being healthy? And if your vision of being healthy is very, very controlled, and you look at yourself and you're like, I am not somebody who's very controlled, then you're never going to be able to see yourself as healthy. It's never going to feel aligned. And so you have to ask yourself, are there people out there who are healthy, who have ADD, who are not controlled, who are not uber disciplined and organized, whose house, like I'm bragged about the laundry, but just to give you guys context, like is a disaster. I'm healthy, right? I'm not saying, sorry, I'm not saying that I'm your example, but I'm saying like we have to look for the things that prove what we need, what's aligned. And I didn't realize today, and this is constant, you keep asking yourself these questions because today, that friend from high school who had like some metabolism thing and like she was not beautiful and fit and slim and skinny. She was skinny and she had to eat all the time and she wasn't even allowed to fast and kipper because if she didn't eat all the time and she ate so much junk food and she did not look healthy and she did not look happy and she did not love her body, none of those things are attractive to me. And so if every time I'm like, ooh, that's what skinny looks like I want to be as far away from skinny as possible. But that's not true. None of that is true. None of that has to be me. None of that is aligned with who I am or what I would want. So we got to get into these questions. We got to ask these things because then we're going to be open to a blueprint of the functional things that I teach in my, Shabbat Ideal blueprint, or, when I mentor people through the to be mindset. Okay. Those are very functional things in the to be mindset. It's very functional. This is how you lose weight. The mindset piece in the Shabbat Ideal Weight Blueprint for Coaching comes to do these exercises. Well, how come, it makes total sense. I know I should eat more vegetables and drink more water. This is not rocket science. Why am I doing it? Why am I getting to these plateaus that I'm up and down and up and down and up and down? Why can't I just get myself breakfast in the morning? Well, maybe because I have a question of, what do I think about someone who eats breakfast every morning? And then I ask myself, is that true? Okay, what proofs do I have that that's true? What things in my mind are proving to me that's true? Is that really true for me? Like, does that have to be that way? Is that true? Like litigated a court of like honest God, divine truth? Oh, maybe not. Maybe it could look different. Maybe I'm already somebody who could be a person who eats breakfast in the morning. And that's the final thought I want to leave you with is we always have to align it to ourselves. And that's why if you see me with my affirmation cards, and I'm actually creating my own affirmation card set for the Shabbat Ideal Way Blueprint that will be launching after Pesach for the next round. It's going to have my own set of affirmation cards because this process is what tells you what you need to affirm. I need to affirm for myself that I am somebody who eats breakfast every day. What does that mean? What does that mean? Somebody who's healthy. I associate that with being healthy, right? I hope this was really meaningful for you today. Please send me a DM, send me an email, connect with me and let me know how this workshop was for you so I can keep improving and serving you exactly where you need, giving you exactly what you need to reach that next level of success. I love you guys so much. Shabbat Shalom. And please share with others that these things are happening on Fridays, 10 a.m. It's going to be most weeks. I'm going to try to run one of these workshops. Have a great day.